When a woman hurts you, something inside you breaks. It's not just the betrayal, it's the confusion, the silence, the fact that she can walk away so easily, like everything you built meant nothing. The late-night thoughts won't leave you alone. You start asking yourself the same questions over and over again. Why wasn't I enough? Why did she change? Was it all fake? But the worst part, she's not thinking about you. She's already moved on, smiling in new pictures, talking to someone else like you were just a phase. And here you are, still bleeding, still trying to understand, still stuck in a war she started and already left. Let me tell you something that will hurt more than anything she did. She doesn't care. She made a decision. She weighed her options. She knew what it would do to you, and she still did it, with a straight face. Now the question isn't, why did she hurt you? It's, what are you going to do about it? Comment, I reclaim my power. Mark this moment, the day you stopped waiting for closure and started writing your comeback. Number 1, control your reaction. When you're betrayed by a woman you trusted, when your loyalty is met with indifference, when you've invested your time, energy, and emotion into someone who decided your presence was no longer worth keeping, your first impulse is to act out, to express the pain you feel because somewhere in your mind you believe if she just saw how much this hurt you, she'd understand. She'd feel something, maybe even regret it. But the harsh reality that you refuse to accept is this: she's already detached. She's already left emotionally long before she told you it was over, and everything you're doing to get a response, to get attention, to make her feel your pain only lowers your value in her eyes. Because once a woman disconnects, your emotional reaction only confirms she made the right decision. And here's where most men ruin themselves, by handing over their power in the hope that she'll validate them one last time. But validation is no longer yours to earn from her, because what you don't realize is your silence, your discipline, your ability to take this pain and turn it inward without exploding is the very first step toward reclaiming your control. And this control isn't about looking strong, it's about being strong when nobody sees you. It's about waking up with that ache in your chest and still doing the hard things, still sticking to your schedule, still showing up for your responsibilities, still pushing through the weight of what you feel without needing to scream it out loud, because you're not owed understanding. And closure won't come from her. It comes from choosing to respond to the worst day of your life with the mindset of a man who refuses to fall apart just because someone else chose to walk away. And this is where the transformation begins, in the choice to regulate your response, not because you're trying to win her back, not because you want to look cool, but because you are no longer available to be controlled by people who don't respect your presence. And this type of control shows up in the small choices, in how you carry yourself when nobody is watching, in how you sit with your pain without needing to numb it, in how you prioritize your own growth over trying to make someone else feel guilty for hurting you. And when you stop reacting emotionally to her distance, when you stop chasing, when you stop needing to express your side of the story, something changes. Not in her, but in you. You stop feeling like a victim and start moving like someone who has nothing to prove. And this doesn't mean the pain goes away. It means you're no longer trying to dump that pain into someone who caused it. You're using it as a mirror to see where you ignored your own standards, where you gave too much of yourself to someone who didn't earn it, and you stop waiting for someone else to fix the emotional damage they left behind, because you realize now it's your responsibility to clean up your own mind, not out of shame, but because carrying baggage from someone who let you down only slows your evolution. And there's a moment, a silent, private moment, when you wake up and realize you're done crying, done explaining, done seeking closure from someone who benefits from your confusion, and that's when your power returns, not through revenge, not through getting even, but through complete detachment from anything that drains you. And this reaction, or rather your lack of one, becomes the signal to yourself that you're no longer emotionally enslaved by someone's decision to leave. You are in charge now, you're steering your life now, and every time you get triggered and don't react, every time you want to send that message and don't, every time you choose progress over pain, you're building a version of you who no longer tolerates disrespect. And this is how you turn heartbreak into discipline, weakness into strength, silence into structure. Because you don't need her to understand what she lost. You need to understand what you gained by walking away. Peace, focus, clarity, and the ability to sit with discomfort without crumbling. And that is what makes you unstoppable. Not the absence of pain, but the mastery of your response to it. And if you're ready to take that control even further and fully become the man this world rarely teaches you how to be, you need to get your hands on the Stoic Relationship Blueprint, a powerful ebook created specifically for men like you, filled with timeless Stoic principles that will transform the way you see women, emotions, and most importantly, yourself. And it's now finally available in audiobook form, so you don't have to wait to start. You can plug in and listen to this life-changing knowledge while walking, while working out, while driving, while rebuilding yourself one decision at a time. And this isn't just another book you'll read and forget. This is a blueprint you'll return to for life, because once you own it, it's always yours. Yours to revisit in your low moments, yours to guide your mindset when temptation creeps in, yours to anchor you when you feel like slipping back into who you were. So if you've ever asked yourself, how do I never get played like that again? How do I build a life no one can take from me? Or how do I finally become the man I know I'm meant to be? The answers are inside, and the link is in the comments. Number 2, refuse to hate her. Hating her feels justified at first because the pain she left you with is real, and the betrayal doesn't feel accidental. It feels intentional, calculated even, and your mind races with all the scenarios you ignored, the little signs, the energy shifts, the way she stopped caring in tiny ways until one day it all added up and she dropped you without flinching. And now every part of you wants to blame her for the chaos in your chest, for the confusion in your thoughts, for the fact that she made you believe you were enough and then treated you like you never mattered. And that hate grows because it feels like the only emotion left to keep her close. But what you don't realize is that hate isn't strength. It's just proof that she still controls you, that she still has keys to your emotional home. And every time you replay what she did, every time you talk about her with rage, every time you secretly hope karma comes for her, you're feeding the very attachment you're trying to escape. And the truth is, the more time you spend resenting her, the less time you have to rebuild yourself, because the energy you use to hate is the same energy you need to heal. And she doesn't feel your hate. She doesn't lose sleep over your pain. She sleeps fine. She moves on. She laughs with someone new while you sit in the prison of your own mind waiting for a justice that won't come, because people who hurt you on purpose rarely feel bad for it. And even if they do, they'll never tell you. So now it's you versus you. And the challenge isn't about forgetting what she did. It's about choosing not to let it rot you from the inside, because no one deserves that much access to your peace. And the way you win isn't by getting even, it's by getting out, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so far gone that she no longer crosses your thoughts. And when she does, there's no emotion attached, no spike in your chest, no urge to check her page or text her or bring her up to your friends. And this takes discipline. It takes choosing detachment every single day. even when the anger flares up again, even when your pride gets poked by memories or triggers, even when someone tells you she's happy with someone else. And it's in those moments that your growth is tested, because reacting is easy, but letting go is power. And the more you focus on what she did, the more you delay who you're becoming. And this is where your future starts. The day you wake up and decide she no longer gets to live in your mind rent-free, not through love, not through hate, not through anything in between. And if you want to move on, if you want to stop feeling like you're stuck in a chapter she wrote for you, then burn the script and start writing your own. One where you no longer base your self-worth on how someone else treated you. One where you stop trying to understand her intentions and start understanding your own standards. Because the lesson wasn't in what she did. It's in what you allowed, in what you tolerated, in how far you stretched yourself just to keep someone who wouldn't lift a finger to keep you. And that realization stings, but it also frees you, because now you get to reclaim that energy, redirect it towards something that matters, your purpose, your growth, your future. And the moment you stop needing her to hurt the way you hurt, the moment you stop obsessing over whether or not she regrets it, the moment you stop wanting her to see how strong you've become, is the moment you take full command of your life again. Because your value was never in how much she loved you. It was always in how well you could rise after being dropped. And if you're still angry, still bitter, still holding on to the fantasy that one day she'll come crawling back, then you're still chained to the same woman who showed you who she really was. And your hate doesn't punish her. It punishes you. It keeps you parked in a story that's already over. And until you walk away mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you're not free. And freedom doesn't start with forgetting. It starts with accepting that what happened is never going to make sense the way you want it to. It's never going to justify the loyalty you gave. It's never going to undo the damage. And that's okay. Because healing isn't about erasing the pain. It's about becoming someone who refuses to be defined by it. And that means letting go without needing justice, without needing apologies, without needing revenge. Just letting go for the sake of your own peace. Because when you can think about her and feel nothing, not love, not hate, not regret, just peace, that's when you've truly won. That's when she becomes irrelevant. Not because you erased her, but because you outgrew everything that made her feel important. Number 3, walk away without a word. Walking away without saying anything is not weakness. It's the highest form of power you can exercise when someone who once claimed to love you shows you through action that you no longer matter. Because when a woman starts detaching, when her tone shifts, when her replies grow colder, when her interest dies, and she starts comparing you to options she never told you about, the silent treatment she gives you is not accidental. It's a signal. And instead of chasing clarity from someone who's already emotionally moved on, instead of writing paragraphs she won't read, instead of trying to fix something she's already planning to discard, your response must be complete and wordless withdrawal. Because the truth is, most men trap themselves not in the betrayal itself, but in their emotional investment, in a version of her that doesn't exist anymore. They keep hoping the woman they once knew is going to come back and realize what she's throwing away. But she's already replaced you in her mind, and even if she hasn't lined up a new man yet, the emotional disconnection is real. So every attempt you make to get her back, to make her feel guilty, to spark her empathy, only confirms to her that she holds all the power, and the only way to get it back is to vanish, not as a tactic, not as revenge, but because you refuse to keep explaining your worth to someone who's already shown you they don't care. And this is where most men fold. They want to feel heard. They want to be understood. They want one last conversation to make sense of the chaos she created. But that last conversation is a trap, because it won't give you peace. It will reopen wounds and expose you to more manipulation. Because when she senses that you're still desperate for closure, she can use that to keep you orbiting, to keep you wondering, to keep you stuck. And walking away without a word removes that weapon from her hands. It leaves her with no control, no narrative, no final scene. And that's when her imagination starts doing the work you used to do for her. Now she's thinking about why you didn't reach out. Now she's wondering how you just disappeared. Now she's starting to question if she really had you as figured out as she thought. And while she's playing detective, you're building, you're evolving, you're distancing yourself so far from who you were when she left you that even if she came back, she wouldn't be able to reach you mentally. And you do this not to prove anything, but to protect yourself. Because silence is not passive. Silence is focus. Silence is structure. Silence is survival. When speaking would only cost you more of your dignity, and there's no strength in begging, no pride in trying to win back someone who broke you, no honor in chasing love that discarded you like you were a phase she outgrew. And when you finally realize that peace is better than closure, that your future is more important than her apologies, that your silence says more than your words ever could, that's when you walk. And you don't look back, not because you're pretending to be strong, but because you're done performing pain for someone who doesn't deserve to witness your healing. And every step you take away from her drama, her games, her emotional inconsistency, is a step toward clarity, toward inner order, toward a life where you no longer need anyone else's permission to feel whole. And you'll be tempted. Trust me, you'll have nights where your mind replays every conversation, every laugh, every promise, where the part of you that still remembers who she was in the beginning will beg you to reach out, to reconnect, to relive the fantasy. But if you're smart, you won't, because that version of her no longer exists, and you can't build a future chasing ghosts. So you walk away without texting, without calling, without stalking, without watching her stories, hoping she notices your absence, because you owe it to yourself to close the chapter properly, not with words, but with distance, not with arguments, but with discipline, not with pain, but with progress. And the moment you do this, really do this, not as an act, not as a strategy, but from a place of deep internal certainty that you're done giving power to someone who doesn't value it, that's when you win. Because her validation becomes irrelevant, her opinions become background noise, and your path becomes clean, clear, focused, and driven not by emotion, but by vision. And what she does after that no longer concerns you, because your life is not about proving to her that she made a mistake. It's about proving to yourself that you were never the problem. You were just loyal to the wrong person for too long, and now that time is up, and your exit, your calm, wordless exit, becomes your new standard for how you handle anything that threatens your peace again. Number 4. Turn pain into fuel. Pain shows up uninvited, unplanned, and always at the worst time. And when it hits you because someone you trusted decided you were disposable, the natural reaction is to sit in it, to drown in it, to feel like it's the end. And for a while, it feels like it is, because betrayal from someone you let close cuts deeper than any loss from a stranger. But the mistake most people make is assuming that pain is something to escape, to bury, to drink away, to distract from with endless scrolling or quick fixes. But what they don't understand is that pain is not your enemy. Pain is your beginning, and the version of you that was comfortable, emotionally available, predictable, always giving, always trusting. That version dies when someone takes your loyalty for granted, and the man who comes after that is completely up to you, because pain isn't here to break you. It's here to introduce you to yourself, the self you never needed until everything around you collapsed, the self that doesn't settle, doesn't beg, doesn't wait for apologies that never come, And this transformation begins the moment you stop asking why it happened and start asking what you're going to build with the ashes of everything you lost, because you can't undo what she did. You can't rewind time, but you can rebuild, and not just to survive, but to become so focused, so disciplined, so intentional that her betrayal becomes the reason you finally took your life seriously. And you do that by treating pain as a signal, a wake-up call, not a curse. Because if you look close enough, the pain reveals everything you ignored, every red flag you explained away, every boundary you compromised just to keep her around. And now that it's all gone, now that she's replaced you emotionally or physically or both, you have a chance to channel every ounce of what you feel into a system of growth so solid it carries you through every challenge going forward. Because you're not supposed to be the same person after being torn down. You're not supposed to bounce back with a smile and pretend it didn't hurt. No, you're supposed to become unrecognizable to your old self, the self that tolerated less than he deserved, the self that waited for people to see his worth instead of living it. And the best way to do that is to stop asking her to be the fuel and let the disappointment be the lesson, because true growth happens when you stop proving a point and start building a life that nobody else gets credit for but you. So wake up earlier, even if it hurts, even if your chest is still heavy, and move, not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Because a routine built in pain becomes a fortress in peace. And every time you show up for yourself, every time you stick to your plan, every time you say no to the old version of you who used to break down and chase validation, you are laying a brick for the man who doesn't need her to regret leaving because he's too far ahead to care. And you don't post it, you don't brag about it, you don't make a show of your healing, you just build in silence, with intention, with standards, with the understanding that this pain is your training ground, not your identity. And when people ask why you changed, you won't have to explain, because the results will speak, and the ones who left won't even recognize you anymore. Not because you're faking strength, but because you've converted every hit you took into motivation to never rely on anyone else for your peace again. And that's the ultimate shift. The moment you realize that what hurt you was just a mirror exposing where you gave too much, where you settled, where you allowed comfort to replace ambition. And from that realization, you commit, not emotionally, not temporarily, but with absolute conviction to never go back. Not mentally, not physically, not spiritually. And you train your mind every day, you train your body with every rep, you train your vision with every decision, and over time, the pain that once haunted you becomes your edge, your story, your engine. And you stop needing her to feel guilty, because you've outgrown the need for revenge. You've outgrown the need for her to see your glow up, because now you're living for something bigger, your potential, your future, your standards. And when you look back, you won't feel sadness, you'll feel gratitude, not because she broke you, but because that moment became the line between who you were and who you refused to stay. Number 5. Level up in silence. You don't broadcast healing when you're serious about becoming untouchable, because the ones who talk the most usually grow the least. And when you've been betrayed, abandoned, or replaced by someone who once looked you in the eyes and said they'd never leave, what you do next defines the rest of your life. Not how loudly you post about moving on, not how many indirect quotes you share, but how radically you commit to self-development behind closed doors, where no one claps, no one checks in, and no one validates your effort except the results. And the truth is, most people don't actually want to change. They want to be seen changing. They want her to notice. They want her to regret. They want to show her what she lost. But real evolution isn't concerned with what she sees, because the man who's truly rebuilding isn't trying to prove a point to the person who broke him. He's proving a standard to the version of himself that allowed it, and that process requires brutal honesty, consistency, and detachment. It requires you to sit in the discomfort of rebuilding every part of your life without needing an audience. And if you're still hoping she checks your profile, if you're still moving in a way to spark her curiosity, if you're still planning your glow-up for the reaction instead of the reality, then she still owns you, because real peace is quiet, and the kind of discipline required to become elite in your life demands that you cut ties, not just with her, but with your ego, your need for attention, your addiction to external validation, and that's hard. It's hard to disappear when your mind is screaming for proof that she still thinks about you. But disappearing isn't about hiding, it's about focusing. It's about removing noise so you can hear your own potential clearly, and the only way to hear it is to silence everything that once distracted you. The late-night stalking, the mutual friends, the comparison to whoever she's with now, it all has to go, because while you're watching her live, you're delaying your own, and the longer you keep checking for signs that she misses you, the longer you stay stuck in the cycle that kept you average. And there comes a moment where you have to stop being emotionally available to the past and start being ruthlessly committed to the future. And that starts with habits, with systems, with removing access from anyone who doesn't align with your goals. And you don't do this loudly. You don't make a show of cutting people off. You simply stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for your growth. You stop making space for conversations that drain you, and your entire focus becomes structure. Sleep, training, income, discipline, learning, building, tightening your circle, locking in on your vision so intensely that distractions naturally fall off. And at first it feels lonely, because the process of becoming something real always costs you the illusion of who you used to be. And there's grief in that. Grief in realizing how long you played it small just to be loved, how much you tolerated in silence just to avoid conflict, how much of yourself you suppressed just to keep a woman who was never built to handle your full self. And now that you see it clearly, you understand that this isn't about getting her back or making her jealous. It's about honoring the version of you that was ignored, disrespected, and overlooked, and giving that version a life he can be proud of. A life where you don't explain your standards, where you don't negotiate your peace, where you don't chase attention. You command it by how you move, by how you carry yourself, by how consistent your actions are with your words. And that consistency builds confidence, and that confidence doesn't need to be flaunted because people feel it. And eventually so will she, but by then it won't matter, because you'll be so far removed from the version of you that needed her validation that even if she came back, you wouldn't respond, not out of spite, but because you've evolved into a life where she no longer fits, a life where your energy is preserved, your mind is sharp, your finances are right, your body is strong, your purpose is clear, and your standards are high, and you guard that with everything you have, because now you understand that leveling up isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you were before you allowed broken people to convince you that you had to shrink to be loved. Number 6. Live a life she can't reach. Building a life she can't reach starts when you finally realize that closure is a myth, and waiting for her to understand what she lost is a form of self-abandonment. Because if you're still checking to see if she regrets it, still secretly hoping she'll reach out, still wondering if she watches your stories or hears about your progress through friends, then you haven't truly moved on. You're just living in the shadow of her memory. And as long as she still has that space in your mind, she still has influence over your future. And if you want to be free, if you want to create a life where her name doesn't echo in your thoughts anymore, you have to detach so completely that she becomes irrelevant, not because she suddenly turned into a bad person in your head, but because you've evolved into someone who no longer connects with the version of you that needed her approval, and that evolution starts with decisions, not emotions, because your feelings will lie to you, especially when you're alone, especially late at night when the silence creeps in, and all your mind can do is replay every moment that used to feel like forever, and that's where most men stay stuck, in that place between remembering and rebuilding. But the only way to get out is to start living forward. Start choosing yourself over nostalgia. Start crafting a life where everything she represented becomes obsolete, and that doesn't happen by accident. It happens through deep discipline and ruthless focus. It happens when you remove access to anything that makes you regress, when you stop talking about her, stop responding to her breadcrumbs, stop fantasizing about what you'd say if she showed up tomorrow, apologizing, because even if she did, the man you're becoming wouldn't want her anymore, not because of pride, but because you finally understand that someone who could hurt you like that once can never be trusted again. And that realization is what fuels your next chapter, the one where you no longer build with the hope that she's watching, but with the certainty that she's not needed, not even in memory. And from that place, you start constructing something real. You elevate your surroundings. You audit your circle. You only keep people around who pour into you the way you pour into yourself. And you don't explain this shift to anyone, especially not her, because explaining is just another form of seeking permission. And you're done seeking, done begging, done hoping that the person who walked away might somehow validate the man you're becoming, because you don't need her to see it. You don't need her to understand it, and you sure as hell don't need her to return to it, because the man you're becoming is walking in spaces she can't enter, building routines she doesn't belong in, setting standards she can't meet, and operating at a frequency she'll never tune into again. And this life, this new reality you're building, it's so aligned, so peaceful, so focused, that even if she did come back, she'd realize you're not even the same species anymore, because your mindset has changed, your priorities have shifted, your heart has healed without her, and now your goals are too big to make room for someone who made you feel small. And that's the true revenge, not bitterness, not proving a point, but becoming someone so elevated, so powerful in how he lives, so complete in his own lane, that her presence, her name, her past relevance to your story becomes just a forgotten footnote. Not because you erased her, but because you no longer recognize the version of you that once needed her. And the only way to create this kind of life is to go all in on yourself. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start becoming undeniable. Start building in the gym, in your business, in your discipline, in your energy, in your choices. And you don't stop for applause. You don't pause for recognition, because you're not doing this for attention. You're doing it because you refuse to die as the man who gave more than he received, who was loyal to someone who wasn't loyal back, who stayed longer than he should have in something that drained him daily. And that man is gone, buried in the silence you used to rebuild. And now what stands in his place is someone so focused, so self-contained, so locked in on purpose, that the idea of going backward doesn't even exist. And this isn't about being cold. This is about being clear. Clear about what you'll tolerate. Clear about who you give access to. Clear about where you're headed. And the clearer you get, the further you move from anything and anyone who once held you back. And that's how you live a life she can't reach. Not by hiding, not by blocking her and checking if she noticed, but by becoming a man she couldn't stand next to even if she tried, because the man you're becoming doesn't just survive betrayal. He uses it to evolve into something so complete that even his past wounds no longer recognize him. They don't want you to have this. They want you distracted, heartbroken, confused, chasing closure, chasing her, chasing answers that will never come. They don't want you sharp. They don't want you emotionally free. They don't want you holding the Stoic relationship blueprint, a weapon disguised as an ebook, filled with timeless Stoic truths that society prays you never hear, because once you do, you stop playing their game. And now, it's in audiobook form. You can listen while walking, jogging, driving, rebuilding your life in silence, absorbing every principle that makes you untouchable. If you're done being emotionally played and ready to lead yourself with logic, power, and peace, the link is in the comments. Own it, keep it, revisit it for life. Comment, "I choose truth" below if you're ready. Like this video, subscribe, and help save another man from wasting years chasing what was never real.